You're listening to Cat
Hi, I'm Kat, and you're listening to Cat Tales. Ricky Warwick is the lad from Northern Ireland who got to walk in his hero's shoes, even though he refuses to admit he wears them. The now lead singer of Thin Lizzy, Ricky plays songs written by Phil Lynott and performs with Scott Gorham to bring them to life again. But more than that, he is also the frontman of Black Star Riders, who have made 4 of the finest hard rock albums of modern times, and was also the frontman of the hard rock band The Almighty, who achieved chart success in the UK throughout the 90s. It's a while since Ricky and I last saw each other, but he is every bit as humble as he was then, and we chat about stepping into those famous shoes, Ricky's solo albums, performing virtually, and shaking your bahookie. This is the one with Ricky Warwick. How are you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. It's such a long time since I've seen you. It's so lovely to speak to you again.
Yeah, I've been, we're just coming out of lockdown here, Kat, now. We've been pretty much, locked down for the last 3 months, a bit like yourselves over there. And it's just starting to ease up a little bit now. But, we're definitely not out of the woods yet. I still think there's a long way to go with this virus,
Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it, to be honest? I think there's going to be another peak myself, but, who knows? We shall see.
Yeah, nobody seems to know.
No, well, it is. They keep on saying it's unprecedented times, and it really is, isn't it? So we'll just have to keep going on the journey and see what happens.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
It is. I spoke to you back in, it must be about 2013. It's got to be about 7 or 8 years ago. So it's a long time, and a lot must have happened. When we last spoke, actually, it was just when you'd taken over the position in Thin Lizzy. So there you are. That's how long ago it is. Now,
that would have been 2010. That's when that was announced.
Wow. So
2012 was when we started Black Star Riders.
Wow, there you go.
Wow.
It had just been on the cusp of that because, of course, you're in Thin Lizzy, and we had the conversation at the time how wonderful it was for you to fill those big shoes, and you said to me, there's no way I could fill Phil's shoes. There's no way I can do that. I can just stand behind where he would have been. And I thought that was wonderful at the time. Does it still feel like that when you're playing those songs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Phil Lynott is the lead singer of Thin Lizzy. There's no other lead singer, and nobody will ever take that place or should ever dream of trying to replace that man. Phil is Thin Lizzy as far as I'm concerned. He's iconic. He's probably my favorite songwriter and performer of all time. I'm just singing his songs, and that's the way I've always looked at it. I'm keeping his songs alive, and because they're such amazing songs. And humility and the honor of singing those songs is not lost on me. Since I got the phone call from Scott asking me to join, it still gives me the same thrill as it did, when Scott asked me to come and sing those songs. And that's never waned, and I still feel as passionate and as strong about it now. And it's a dream come true as a kid growing up in Northern Ireland, and Lizzy being my favourite band, to end up getting to be even a small part of that legacy and sing those songs is it's what kids' dreams are, and mine came true.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, who would have thought it all those years ago when you're just sort of starting out thinking, if there's one gig I want, it would be that. And you got it.
Well, I never wanted the gig, when you're a kid. I mean, I wish Phil was still with us. I wish that Lizzy, he was still writing and making music now, like everybody that loves Phil does. But when you're a kid, you're listening to the radio, you're watching Top of the Pops, and you dreaming of being on stage with those bands or being in your own band. So, the way circumstances worked out, I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy that, I got the chance to sing those songs and play with Scott and play with Brian and play with Darren Wharton. It was what an amazing buzz.
Yeah, you could never have dreamt it, could you, really? But, even moving on from that, though, obviously Black Star Riders now is really where it's all happening, isn't it? Because you've produced the albums and you're actually, you're touring those new songs rather than just the Lizzy songs. Does it now feel like you're owning it a little bit more yourself? Because obviously Scott's still in the band. I know, obviously, there's been lineup changes, but Scott's still there. So it's that legacy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and it has done really... for a long time, and I think it maybe even did from the start. I mean, we when we decided to go ahead with Black Star Riders and record the first album as Black Star Riders, that's when it all changed for me. That's when I stopped thinking this is Thin Lizzy and blah blah blah. We are now Black Star Riders. So for me, the precedent was set right out of the gate with that first album, and we didn't know how the first album was going to do, if anybody was going to like it, if it was going to be successful. We had no idea. We just knew that we had 12 great songs that we were very proud of and wanted to record. And the fact that the album did so well, and here we are 8 years later, and we're about to record our fifth record, our fifth Black Star Riders album. I mean, I think that answers the question. I mean, if the band hadn't defined itself 4 albums and 8 years down the road, about to make our fifth, then there you go. I mean, absolutely we are,
It speaks for itself, doesn't it, really? You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a success story and it's a fabulous one, isn't it? But now...
Thank you.
No, don't thank me. It speaks for itself. It does. It really does, Ricky. So during that time, though, you've had a few, lineup changes, haven't you? Yourself and Scott have been the sort of like the foundations, I guess, is the best way of putting it. And then there's been a few changes along the way. Have there been deliberate changes, or has it just sort of like worked out there because everyone's got other projects on the go?
No, I mean, they left. Nobody was fired from the band, and nobody was pushed out of Black Star Riders. Everybody, Marco being the first, then obviously Jimmy, and then obviously, my great friend Damon Johnson. They all left. There was no like, oh, this isn't working out. We think you should leave. There was none of that. It was all down to that individual to make that choice. Scott says it best: being in a band isn't a jail sentence. And when you get older, there's other things in life that are important and take up more of your time. And being on the road and being in a band and being committed to the band isn't, in my opinion, is easy when you're a kid. In your 20s and you've got no responsibilities and you just jump in the back of the van and disappear for 2 months. No problem. And if you make a bit of cash along the way, that's great. When you've got kids and a mortgage and responsibilities and people that are relying on you, the whole game's changed. And I think with the music industry being the way it is, even before the virus, sometimes being in one band just isn't enough. You get people that have got 2 or 3 things on the go just because they have to do that to pay their bills. And I think that was just the case. I think, with everybody that was involved, they wanted to go off and do other things. Marco had the chance to go and play with the Dead Daisies, which he wanted to do, and then he had a solo career. And same with Damon. Damon wanted to dictate when he was on tour. He wanted to be home more. He wanted to spend more time with his family. So, for him, he wanted to go and concentrate on the solo stuff, which allowed him to say, okay, I'm going to tour this amount every year. Obviously, when you're in a band like Black Star Riders, touring as much as we do, it's a democratic process. So if you, I know Adam, our manager, really well. If Adam comes and go, hey, you're going on the road for 2 months, everybody has to commit to that because that's what makes the band work. So if somebody can't commit to that, suddenly there's a kink in the chain, and it doesn't work. So those were the reasons that those people left, and they're honourable reasons, and I respect that. And sorry as I am to see anybody go, but. Me and Scott have been tied up. Scott and I have been friends for almost 30 years, and it's about Black Star Riders. And I think the name is bigger than the sort of individual that are in the band. And like you said, we now have developed our own legacy, Cat, and I think we want to continue that. And sadly, people have come, and people. And hopefully now the lineup's solid for a while going forward. I'd like to think that it is, but you just never know.
No, that's right, and I can understand that completely, because the industry now has pushed musicians to rely very heavily on the touring aspect, haven't they, to earn that income?
Absolutely.
And to try and get 5 of you all together or whatever to go, actually that fits with me. It must be quite a tall order.
It's tough, because nobody, very few artists are actually making money off record sales. I mean, very few artists can sit back and go, my record sales will pay my cost of living for the year. So touring is where it's at, and like I said, you're asking a commitment of guys with kids, with families and stuff like that. It's tough when you're leaving home, and so you got to take all that into consideration. And touring is where it's at, and we all want to tour and we all want to play, and that's where we make our living now. That's really where it is on the road.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, you've now got this COVID now just dropped into the mix. It's stopped everything, hasn't it? It's like, God, no. So everything's on hold, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, who could have seen that coming? And everybody's way of life has changed. But look, there's so many people that are in a far worse predicament than we are. And, I'm just thankful that, that we can still do stuff online. We can still manage to get by. For a lot of people, it's been a lot tougher, and so I think I'm one of the lucky ones that I'm able to do what I do and still be able to, play an online show every few weeks and keep playing and keep writing, keep pushing forward, So, what can you do,
Well, that's right. But I think, you're doing everything you can do in terms of embracing what there is available. And online is where it's now at, isn't it? Lots of artists have moved online because it gets you back in front of your audience at this quiet time.
It is, and it was going that way anyway, Kat. I mean, the online thing was just getting more and more, more and more prevalent as time was going on, and more artists are turning to it. So I think that just sped the whole process up, as it were. And, when something like this happens, you kind of go, okay, this is shit. What can I do? How can I make this better? How can I get through this? How can I connect with the people that have supported me and like my music? How can I keep playing? Because as somebody myself that writes and tours as much as I do, it defines who I am. So if somebody pulls that carpet away from me, it's like it's a drug. It's like, well, I don't know what to do. I've never been at home for this long. I don't know how to, So I'm starting to go, okay, right. So how do I adapt? And that's the first thing that sort of came in my head. How do I adapt this? How can I turn this into something positive? And I looked at doing the online show. And I realized that money is tight for everybody. And so, when I do the show, I just do it once a month. I try and keep the ticket prices, I think it's a $5, it's $5 or whatever, and try and make it an experience and make sure that people are part of it and welcome them into my home. And, it's kind of cool. And it's never going to replace, playing live. Of course it's not. But as a different thing, I think it's quite cool. And it's something I think I'll continue to do even after this horrible virus has gone away and we get some kind of normality back in lives. I think I'll keep doing, the odd online show and maybe even bring it on the road and all that kind of stuff. I think that the limitations with it are pretty huge. So I'm quite excited about it, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a really lovely thing, and you feel like you're actually going into people's houses. It's like a private gig, isn't it? They're getting, and it's that suddenly you're into those intimate situations that when you're playing stadiums now, and you're into festivals and stuff. You lose that connection, don't you?
You do, and I've had a few people go, well, I don't want to do this. Playing online gigs, not the same. It's crap. It's I'm not. Well, of course it isn't. But I've had people that have been doubters that have gone on and go, you know what, I really enjoyed that. It's not the same. It's never going to be the same. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
And that's the way that you should go into it, because that's what it is. But it's an experience and it's fun.
Yeah.
And, I love the fact you can interact with the people when you're playing and talk to them and take requests and see what's going on with them. I mean, I think that's a really, really beautiful thing to be able to do. And also these people are like, well, I'm not going to go to some online gig. I'm not going to pay the price of a Starbucks cup of coffee, which is what it is to watch this. It's like, hang on a minute. If you don't support this at grassroots level right now, this isn't going to come back when this is lifted. Because these musicians and these venues and these people and all these that are still trying to get through this, like we all are, aren't going to be able to do it. So if you can't, give a couple of quid to support the arts, which, by the way, is helping get everybody through this. This is what we all turn to. We turn to Netflix, we turn to computer games, we turn to books, and we turn to music to help us get through this. Then, I don't get that. I don't get the attitude, oh, it's not the same, and I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to watch somebody play from the living room. I think you're missing the point when people say that, I think it's so much more than that.
I totally agree. At the end of the day, it's about, they have access to your talent and your skills and the emotion that it brings out when you're playing a song. So that's what they're actually connecting with. So if that's, a couple of quid, £5 or something, for goodness sake, as you say, you go out and buy a coffee.
It's stripped down its purest form. It's, a guy with an acoustic guitar playing the songs that you get to hear live with the full band with the amps turned off. And you can almost see how those songs are written in that environment. I mean, where I sit and where I play when I do the show is where I write the Black Star Rider songs, where I write the Ricky Warwick songs, is that same spot on the guitar that I use to write those songs. So you're getting it in its complete sort of primal state, when you're playing those songs. And like I said, it's never going to replace a live show, but it's much more than that. It's about supporting the arts. To me, that's the whole thing, the bigger picture.
absolutely. And also, as you say, seeing you in that raw state. I mean, I'll tell you what, well, if I said to you, oops, I did it again, I bet you know exactly what I mean.
It's a great song.
It is. I was gripped by your performance. I thought, wow, I didn't realise that was quite such a good song. It's only when you delivered it like that, it made it completely different, you know? And that's what it's about, isn't it?
You. Yeah, look, a good song's a good song. And I love pop music. I love all kinds of music. And a well-constructed, well-written pop song, in my opinion, is a thing of beauty. And that's a well-written, put-together song. I got the idea. Richard Thompson, the great folk singer,
yes.
I'm sure you've heard of Richard Thompson.
I have.
He did a version of it many years ago, and I saw that, and I thought, right, this is amazing. So I stole the idea from him and sort of did my own kind of rough around the edges, sort of Ricky Warwick version of it. And it's just, again, a song that works so basically on an acoustic guitar, and still sounds as amazing as it does as a sign of a great, sort of well-written, well-crafted song.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, isn't it? And it comes down to that skill set and that art and that delivery, and that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Whether you're just you and your acoustic or it's a full band in a festival, it's the same thing, isn't it? Different experiences, you say, but that's what it's down to.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yep.
So when you're writing these songs, you're sitting there. I can visualize you now because I can see you with your guitar. And then, so how does it all come together for you? Is it really about the lyrics or the music, or does it just pop your head?
I can't tell anybody that. That's one of my trade secrets.
You'd have to kill me, wouldn't you, if you told me? I know.
Right? It's, how can I describe it? I think about songs all the time. All the time. Every day, 24/7, I'm thinking about songs. So it's not just a case of, Saturday I'm going to get up and I'm going to write a song. I'm constantly thinking about lyrics and about, because I'm obsessed. I'm totally obsessed with music. So I'm constantly thinking about lyrics and music and this and that, or listening to people going, oh, that's amazing. How did he, wonder how he got those chord changes for that chorus and that song. That's really cool. So, finding inspiration. So to me, it's a job, and it's a job that I'm very lucky to have, and it's a job that I love. So I treat it like a job. So I try and write every day. I get up, do what I have to do when I'm home around the house, make breakfast, take the kids to school. Obviously if it's a normal day before all this happens, and then I go, then I sit down and pick up the guitar, and I'll write for 4 or 5 hours. And even if I've got nothing to say, even if I write a load of shit, even if it's a day wasted, it's still, I've got up, I've gone to work, and I've done something.
Yeah.
And that's how it works for me. So there's always something going on. It's not a case of going, okay, well, I'm going to put 2 months aside to write. I'm always writing. I don't need to put 2 months aside. That's my job. That's what I do. That's what people pay to come and see me do and buy my records. So that's my job. So I owe it to them to treat it as a job. And that's how I look at it. And that's the process. And, inspiration comes from anywhere. There's always lyrics going in my head. There's notebooks filled with stuff. There's, reams of stuff on my iPhone, riffs and ideas. It's just, that's just really how it comes together.
Brilliant. And then of course it comes out as something and you hope it's going to fit with the next album, or what if it doesn't? You just park it a little bit and then go back and work on it again when you feel like
you take it in, I could be really excited about something and bring it to the other guys and they just go, nah, we don't see it. And that's where it dies in the water. There's no point in me going, well, you're not listening to it properly and blah, 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 blah. Because, if the other 4 of them aren't getting it, that should be telling me something. That should be telling me that they're not into it. What's the point in me forcing this on them, So that then it just gets shelved. It gets put in the back burner, and maybe I'll go back. And that's when it becomes a jigsaw. Suddenly you'll be writing another song. And you go, I really need like a bridge for this. What about that song that had that really cool bridge? The other guys didn't like the chorus and the verse, but they liked it. And you steal that bridge and you put it in that, so you start mixing and matching things together. So nothing is ever totally thrown away.
Yeah, it's never wasted, is it? I suppose it gives you either inspiration.
Everything is recyclable.
Yeah. Perfect for this world now, isn't it, really?
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to do now, Ricky, is play one of your solo tracks, just to listen to how well you construct those songs. This one is Celebrating Sinking.
Lucky dash and a broken heart, death or glory tattooed on your arm. No better faith than wounded faith. These hometown blues still make you smile. You're scared of winning, afraid of trying, treading on the heels of your own boots. So here I am drinking, I'm celebrating sinking all my life, trusting you. The last cowboy on the rodeo, a sold out dog and pony show, lost causes and forsaken beliefs. The calling time on paying your dues for loving something so savage and cruel. Everything's ravaged, everything's burned. So here I am drinking, I'm celebrating sinking all my life, trusting you. What was I thinking? Celebrating sinking all my life, trusting you. Just another pistol patty on a Saturday night, drowning in a bottle full of sugar inside. We all get what we deserve, a worn-out welcome to a worn-out world. Lucky dash and a broken heart, death or glory tattooed on your arm. No better faith than wounded faith. These hometown blues will make you smile. You're scared of winning, afraid of trying, treading on the heels of your own boots. So here I am drinking, I'm celebrating sinking all my life, trusting you. What was I thinking? Celebrating sinking all my life, trusting you. All my life, I'm loving you. Lucky dash and a broken heart.
Hey everybody, this is Ricky Warwick and you're listening to the awesome, the wonderful, the fantabulous Cat Tales.
So the Black Star Riders had an album out last year, wasn't it, at the end of last year?
Another State of Grace.
Yeah, Another State of Grace, which I must say has been lovely listening to. That's
Thank you.
Now album number 3, isn't it, for Black Star Riders?
4.
Is it number 4?
I was on number 4.
Oh, wow, time's flying, isn't it? So, so you've just released a single, which is a really interesting one, I think, for this kind of times, which is all quite political, really, isn't it? And it's sort of dropped around the time of, obviously, all the COVID stuff. And it's Candidate for Heartbreak. Now, was that a deliberate one? Because I know a lot of them are quite political in terms of like motivation of things that are obviously concerning yourself. But was that timing a specific one for now, or was that just a coincidence?
No, purely accidental.
Was it?
Purely accidental. The song was written 2.5 years ago.
Right.
And it was a bonus track on we did 1,000 box sets of the last album. And that was the bonus track, vinyl box sets, and that was the bonus track on the box set. So it wasn't even on the digital download album or the CD. And the record company approached us in January before we all went into lockdown and everything, and said they wanted to put it out in the spring. And we said yeah, because we all thought it was a great song. So purely accidental, but it's just completely surreal that lyrically it's more relevant now than you could possibly imagine. In a sad way too, the fact that it is. But it wasn't written during lockdown. It wasn't, there's nothing contrived about it. It wasn't like, oh, we need to put this out because of what's happening. It was all planned and written way before any of this started going on. But personally, people go, Black Sweaters again. We've always been political. You just need to go back through our albums and read my lyrics. A song like The Killer Instinct is a political song. It's my personal take on what's going on in the world and how I see it, whether that's wrong or that's right, or whether people agree with what I say. It's just my opinion. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving an opinion on what I see and what's affecting me and my friends and my family and where I live and memories and thoughts. That's what I'm putting it into. And, when Donald Trump got elected as President of the United States of America, where I live, a country that I love and it's been very good to me in the 15 years I've been here, my heart sank. And I feared for what would happen. And sadly, a lot of that has come to pass and is happening right now. And I wrote Shadow of the War Machine pretty much straight away, which is on the album, and Candidate for Heartbreak. And it's just, it's just a commentary on what's going on in the world. You just look around you and you see so much bigotry and hatred and suffering and inequality, and we're just being led down this dark road by a lot of these world leaders that don't really care about humanity. All they care about is lying in their pockets and themselves, and it angers me and it frustrates me. Because I believe in humanity and I believe in people. And I believe in the good that's in people. And so as negative as it sounds, I'm trying to look at it positively as well and going, I hope that, and you're starting to see this now with the Black Lives Matter, and people have had enough, and people are starting to go, you know what, we've had enough. We're gonna fight back. We're gonna stand up. We're gonna we want more. We deserve better. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, and do you feel like you're part of that with actually bringing your message out there? Do you think, well, actually, it's been worthwhile me saying what I think because it is now affecting change?
It's affecting me. It's affecting my family. I see it in my family. I see it in my kids.
Yeah.
So how can I not write about it? And it's not a message. I'm not preaching. I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm not going, this is how it should be. I'm going, this is what I think. Yeah. This is how this is affecting me, and this is how it's affecting my family. If you think I'm full of shit, that's completely fine. I get it. If you think what I'm saying resonates with you, brilliant. I'm glad that I was able to resonate with you and connect with you in some way, and you're feeling the same way. That's what it's all about, The last thing I want to do is preach, because at the end of the day, rock and roll is about making people dance and putting a smile on their face, and that's ultimately what I want to do. Yeah. In the same way, a hugely political song like Rock the Casbah gets you on the dance floor and makes you want to dance, because Joe Strummer was a genius at making statements and hiding them in well-crafted, written pop rock and roll songs, like a song like Rock the Casbah, like Should I Stay, Should I Go? Those are that's what inspires me, and I love that. At the end of the day, the most important thing to me, yes, I'm trying to say what's going on, but the most important thing is putting a smile on somebody's face, connecting with them, making them feel something, touching their heart or touching their soul, and getting them shaking the bahookie. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I do indeed. Shake that bahookie. It's got to be done, isn't it?
Yep.
And that's right. I mean, and you've made a really interesting point there, really, about the fact that it can be crafted into something that is actually entertainment, and in some ways it becomes a subliminal message, doesn't it? At the same time as those people who just want the music, that's fine, but the others, who wants to think about it can.
Yeah, look, it's fine. I mean, some of the greatest rock and roll lyrics, you go back to like Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis, and they're just, some of those lyrics are just so primal, and there's a lot of babies going on and stuff like that, and it doesn't matter because the music is so powerful and so emotive and so great. So yes, lyrics do matter, but again, they don't matter. I mean, if somebody came up to me and said, "Yeah, I just love your music. I don't listen, read your lyrics," and I'm like, "Great, brilliant, job done."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have people that analyze every line that you say. What do you mean when you said this? And how did that be?
Yeah.
That's cool too, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all subjective, like all art should be. And I just can't stress enough. At the end of the day, it's about entertaining people and giving them escapism, and whether that makes them feel sad, happy, melancholy, whatever it makes them feel. If you make them feel something, your job's done. So if somebody hates Black Star Riders or hates me, which, you know, it's a horrible word, hate, but they're feeling something. You know, I've made them feel something.
Yeah.
You know, I'd far rather have that than somebody just going, oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, well, I haven't really listened to them. But if so, you know, if somebody really loves the band or somebody really hates the band, you're making them feel something.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
And then job done, as you say. So what's next for you then, Ricky? Tell me what's coming up. Have you got something you're working on at the moment, or something you're thinking about?
What's coming up next? Still doing the once a month online show. I've got another one coming up on my birthday.
I know.
On July the 11th.
Undercover birthday party.
So looking forward to that. It'll be strange, but it'll be, you know, I can't think of a nicer way to spend a birthday with 500 people in my living room. You know what I mean?
Yes, lovely.
So that's, and then actually. On Wednesday, I'm going on a road trip. I'm driving up to Oregon, which is about 800 miles, and I'm going up to Christian Martucci, Black Star Riders guitar player, going up to his studio up in deepest, darkest Oregon, and we're going to finish. We've written 12 songs for the next Black Star Riders album. So we're going to go up and finish demoing those songs in his studio for a few days, which I'm really looking forward to because I haven't left sort of the house in 3 months. You know, the furthest I've been is like 3 miles. So to actually finally get out and go somewhere, I'm really excited about that. Freedom, right? Yeah. And it'll be a beautiful road trip as well, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh wow!
So doing that next week, and then the next thing for me, sort of record release wise, is a new solo record comes out on Nuclear Blast in January, called "When Life Was Hard and Fast" is the title of the album, and that's coming out January. First single will be out in October of this year. So I'm getting ready to make a video for that and just putting all the artwork together for the album and getting everything ready for the January release. And then hopefully, you know, if the universe aligns correctly, I will be on the road sort of from March onwards next year.
Terrific. Let's hope it does. I'm sure it will. It's got to eventually. Oh, do you know what, Ricky? It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you. Thank you so much for giving me your time. It's been lovely.
Thank you, Kat.
Speak soon. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Cat Tales. To listen again to this and other tales, go to cattales.co.uk.